Right, I'm in the process now of fixing the brackets to these downpipes. As usual, I'm using every tool known to man. Every job I do, I end up emptying my toolbox for one reason or another. So I mentioned in a previous video when I was fixing things into the shower room in the garage, how I always make sure that the plastic has the best chance of survival by spreading the load. You can see that I've put a washer there just to spread the pressure from that screw, because otherwise it's likely to split over. Well, it'll split in due course without a washer for sure, because of the drying out of the plastic with the sunlight on it. Not that it will get very much here, but the warm air as well and the reflected UV just helps to dry everything out. So yet again, yes, I'm doing what I call a proper job by spreading the load there. Hopefully that will last a lot longer. I've got another bracket to put on somewhere down the bottom just to make sure the pipe can't be kicked out of position or stressed by someone kicking it or an animal kicking it. And then I'll go down that end and do that one. There you go, job's a good one. The bottom bit needed a bit of packing out. I always have plenty of different sized washers in my toolkit. I'm always using them. The other thing you could use, if you've got a bit of a gap like this in between something you want to fix and the wall, like the back of a toilet for example, or indeed these, you can get the small pipe, the 1/2 inch pipe, and just cut a very small length off to fit in the gap. And that's actually better than these washers in a way, because it won't rust. These washers will start rusting straight away as soon as they get wet, but they're not going to be seen, so it doesn't matter on this occasion. But I have actually had a toilet where it ended up too far away from the wall, and I used pipes to make the washer space, as it were. And so although the toilet was actually sitting proud of the wall, it was held very, very firmly. Well, Suntory made a good job of recovering a lot of these tiles. These are the ones without any damage on them at all. About 4 packs worth. So the extra tiles that we got the other day, we deliberately got 3 packs less than we thought we needed. And so she's covered that deficit. Plus there's a pile here of ones that are slightly chipped, which can either be used for cutting, or she will donate them to her sister for them to use. She's even managed to get all the floor tiles up pretty much without any being damaged. But the wall doesn't look too hot, does it? So the team that are coming in tomorrow have already said that they will replaster this wall, because they can't rely on any of this. A lot of this is loose. You can see there's gaps here, and every time you cut back you end up with a hollow sounding bit, so they're going to strip that off and redo it to guarantee the job. And they might well decide to do this wall as well, because it's got 1 or 2 patches where some of the render came off. They might decide that it's not good enough to guarantee their work. That's all right. I'd rather they did a good job now than try to save time and money. The thick layer of flooring has got to come up. They'll have to use a jackhammer or something on that, so they can restore the level back to where it was, so we can have a step down into the room. So we're just waiting on the tiling team now. We believe there will be 3 of them, so hopefully they'll crack on with this, and they might even achieve the completion of the job in a week. We've also had contact from the kitchen manufacturer, the local representative. They're they're sort of arguing the toss a bit about replacing the damaged units, the ones that we've pointed out. One we pointed out had got a crack in the corner and one had a bad spray patch. But we pointed out that wasn't really the issue. The issue was the fact that the finish was completely different from all their other products, and no one told us it would be, and there were no samples to see. So his next reaction is that he wants to come and see how we are making our kitchen, as if that's got any relevance to the situation. It does annoy me because we might not be making anything. We might just have a completely empty space because we haven't got round to making it yet. I don't know if it's a PR stunt or something, or whether he's looking for a way of getting out of exchanging the units by claiming that we've done something wrong here. Anyway, we're sort of almost obliged to let him come and have a look, really. But at least he'll be on our territory, so then we can argue the toss. We haven't got to the point of threatening the law on them yet. Hopefully he's going to use this as a PR stunt, and for all we know, he might even be after permission to take photographs after it's been fitted and the flooring's been done, just to use in one of their brochures or something, or as a testimonial. Anyway, we've got to wait another week before he comes, which is a shame because it's getting pretty close to when St-Therese got to go away for work, and she wanted to get everything sorted before that event. As you can see, she's busy cleaning the tiles today. I'm going to have a really easy day because unfortunately yesterday when I was working around the back of the property fixing those downpipes, I had to climb over some fences, some little wire fences that were keeping the cows in place, which were grazing next door. And what I didn't realise was the fence was electrified, and unfortunately it got me. I climbed over it 3 or 4 times before on one occasion I touched it, and in the process I fell over and landed awkwardly on my right hand and twisted my fingers, and the whole of my hand and my arm today is aching like mad and a bit stiff, so I'm taking it nice and easy today. Not that there's very much to do, because the next job for me really is to move stones, and we're waiting on the delivery of those. They'll probably come tomorrow, Monday, when the tilers turn up. Well, a lot of noise this morning. We've got the tiling team in. Oh look, we've got a proper tile cutter. That's good to see, that gives me confidence. So they're having to cut up the previously laid adhesive, which is bloody 4 inches thick. That's the only bit we couldn't deal with. They've got a lot of prep to do in that room. I think they're going to be redoing a couple of the walls. See how they're getting on. Oh, wow. Got one wall done. Done properly as well, with all the fittings. One of these things I bought for the other chap to use. Good.
Yeah.
So we're on day 2 of the tiling. And they've got about halfway around the bottom. They're looking okay. And they're dealing with this rather odd dimensioned corner post by fashioning tiles to go up like that, which will hopefully look pretty good if they can keep the rough edges off the tiles. There's a bit of a rough edge on that one, but I expect that will be covered by grout. They've got to re-render this wall. Not sure what their plan is for that. I think they'll probably re-render it and then crack on with the other bathroom. Then leave it to dry a couple of days. Meanwhile, there's not a lot for Suntaray and I to do now. We're just sort of fiddling around with the kitchen, packing in as much glue as we can from the top down the back of these tiles, because they've got plenty of gaps, as I've explained before. You can see the lack of glue on these tiles, so we've got to fill the top anyway to finish it off. So we thought we'd make a wet mix and basically dribble it down from the top as much as possible. Apart from that, today I'm in the process of tidying up this window frame here, really cleaning it up and making sure there's plenty of space for us to put a layer of do you know what, I've completely lost it today. I didn't feel particularly brilliant when I woke up. I've lost the plot. Yes, we're making space effectively and tidying it up so we can grout this area around the window frame. I want to get all this sort of fiddly bits, all these fiddly bits done and everything cleaned up before we fit the sink. So I don't want to have to be clambering over the sink once it's fitted in place. I've measured up where the units are going to go when we eventually get the right ones, and everything fits in perfectly. So I've been marking the height on here and where it's going to end next to the window, and this equidistant start of the next unit on here. And the units along here will fit absolutely perfectly to the millimetre, I think, so that will be good. So at the moment it's pretty slow because we're just really waiting on the tiling to be finished, and once the tiling's finished throughout the house, then we're done really. It's just a question then of fitting the kitchen cabinets and doors and painting the walls and buying appliances and moving in really. So as far as Suntaray and I are concerned, there's very little to do. We're just fiddling around the edges now, dealing with some of the details. Now here's a peculiar thing to try and correct the errors of the previous guy. So we've got hollow spots in the wall because of the way you stuck the tiles on. So Suntaray's gone out and bought two of these, and she's injecting the tile adhesive which was used, or which is being used in the bathrooms now, which is sand free, so it's nice and smooth. She's injecting it into holes. The idea being that she can fill up the gaps behind the tiles, and that will give us a more secure tile system, and won't sound so hollow if we knock it or we clean it or anything happens. It'll be better for us when we start fixing things as well. Let's go and see how these guys are getting on. This is day 3 of their work. Whoa, look at that. So we've got the only wall we haven't got to do, they haven't got done yet, is the one they've rendered. Well, they haven't really rendered it. What they've done is they've repaired it with the adhesive that they're going to use, which is probably better than the render, to be honest. It looks a bit rough and ready, but of course the next layer of adhesive when the tiles go on will sort that out.